Hi, Richard Willett, Inner Hero Martial Arts and Fitness, and today I wanted to go through different stances or postures, and these are all postures that support the different techniques. So I just want to start Hachidachi, just that ready stance, the feet shoulder width. Shizen Taiyoi, that's where the heels and toes come together. Different people call it Haisuku Dachi as well, right? Mosubi Dachi, that's when the heels are together but the toes are apart, right? And Hachi Monji Dachi, that's when the feet are both slightly pointed in, the heels out. Hachi Monji Dachi, right? Next one we're going to cover Koza Dachi. So that's typically if I'm turning and I'm trying to twist, where the front foot for me is flat, but the back one, notice the heel is off. So if I switch the other way, the reverse happens. Whatever's the trailing heel is off. So if I do it towards camera, the front heel is forward. If I do it other way, the trailing one, right? And that's Koza Dachi, right? Next one is Kiba Dachi. Now Kiba Dachi, you could get there by splitting the feet, splitting them out, and re-splitting them and banging them. So an original form of Kiba Dachi was about 1.5 times shoulder width, which is an older version when you see in things like Nahanchi, right? So it's a very short little square stance. The more modern Kiba Dachi or horse riding stance is closer to 2 times width. So feet pointed straight forward, knees out, very strong base of a stance, right? Then if you drop the feet, point them out, dip a little bit deeper, Shikodachi. So you could use that for a punching or something like that. Again, stable, long, deep stance. If you're driving someone down with your elbow, that kind of thing, right? So very, very solid stance that this one would be in. Next stance, Zenkutsu Dachi, front stance. So starting feet shoulder width, move forward, front knee bent over the toes, back knee almost straight. We always keep a little bit of a bend, but mostly straight. Back foot slightly out. Very solid stance, but biggest mistakes people putting in their feet in a straight line, and they have no balance. So again, here, switching sides this way, from the side, right? So I'm here, and back knee straight, front knee almost between the toes and the ankle, somewhere over there is all fine. Not past the toes, because that's bad for the knees, right? So again, this side, that same stance, right? So if I'm perfectly square here, the front foot is pointing perfectly direct that I'm going, and the back knee is on a slight angle, maybe 30 degrees or so, right? 20, 25. All right, back stance. Now, the value of the back stance was often, Kokutsu Dachi, was if I'm pulling someone back. So my front foot is still pointing forward, and my back foot is pointing on that 90-degree angle, right? So they're 90 degrees one to the other. The back knee is almost over the toes, never past the toes. The front knee has a little bit of a bend, not too much, so it's not pulling that person back, right? Kokutsu Dachi, back stance, right? Or in this case, from here, pulling the back, so again, that back knee, 90 degrees between the two. Now, typically if I grab someone, pull them, and slid up, that's a Neko Ashidachi, or cat stance. So typically, again, that was the step and the slide. So I'm grabbing someone, I step back and I slide. And in that one, that back foot is about a 45-degree angle, the front foot mostly forward, and it's an 80-20 balance, right? So 80%, 20, so very stable to kick and those kinds of things, right? Now, different variant of the front stance, right? Where in the front stance we're very square, but if we turn both feet on a 45-degree angle, if I'm trying to look over my shoulder at something and I have both feet on a 45-degree angle, right? That's a Gyaku Zenkutsu Dachi. So from here, I might twist Gyaku Zenkutsu Dachi, right? So twisting that Zenkutsudachi. The next stance that I wanted to go over was Ippon Ashidachi. So if I'm doing, let's say a monkey picks a peach, lifting, and I'm protecting myself, but it's the leg that I want you to look at, right? So it's that crane stance. So this way or even this way. Now in some styles, it's actually behind the knee, right? So behind the knee is also a possibility. So whether it's in front or behind, right? Ippon Ashidachi, right? That crane stance, so to speak. Next stance that I want to go to is Sanchin Dachi. So that's like, I'm here, I do a little bit of a turn, and the back foot stays where it is, but the front foot is pointing on that angle, right? Let's say that 45-degree angle. And if I slide forward the other one is on the 45, right? So again, if I started here, you know, not 45, that hourglass, right? So they keep rotating one after the other in terms of an hourglass. In terms of other stances, Swari Gedan. So if I was to do something and turn, drop down on one leg, right? Swari Gedan. If I was to do it just here as well, right? So that square little stance, right? So it's a very low stance. I can swap, right? No problem between these. Other stances actually from there, Seiza. You know, hands are usually here, feet are behind or together. I'll show you from the side view in a second. My knees can be apart. For ladies, usually knees together. I'm showing you from here, right? My toes are, my big toes are just touching against each other here, usually for a bow. And that's the most formal Japanese bows from the ground. Right? Zegamai, and come back in, you know, this kind of position, and then Hachiji Dachi. Again, back to our ready stance. Right? And that's usually where we spend our time in ready position when we're in class, kind of formal. All right? So have fun with those. Come back and reference them anytime you want, and I hope you have an amazing day.